Hey, I'm Gavin with Atlas CFO. I am the head of the new division here where we automate and fix back office systems to help you scale without adding more staff. And today we're talking about signs of too much manual entry in a construction business. So first of all, why does this matter? Well, manual entry adds chances for inaccuracies in your data and slows everyone down. So if you have to move data from one place to another or do something manually, that adds chances for some kind of inaccuracy to get added into your data, and then you're dealing with kind of messy data, which doesn't give you as clear of a picture of your business. And then you either have to fix it, and that slows everyone down further, or you're just dealing with that inaccurate data. And it also slows everyone down because rather than something happening automatically, and just seamlessly, people are now having to spend time on that, which slows them down, and then obviously it costs you more in terms of having to hire more people and stuff like that. And so now that we know that it matters or why it matters, let's go ahead and jump into sign number one, which is that the field and the office don't match. So if the same info gets entered twice and by different people, especially by different people, that's double entry. And so double entry can create errors and just massive time sinks because you're having to enter something repeatedly, the same number repeatedly. And so this can create errors because maybe you mess up and you swap like a 1 and a 2 in one of the numbers that you input, and then the 1 and the 2 are correct in this other one. And then obviously, again, it's a massive time sink because you're now having to spend the same amount of time on every single thing as opposed to just doing it once, and then it just goes ahead and updates throughout the whole rest of the system. Sign number two is you have multiple versions of the same number. And this is mostly with regards to like errors. And so, for example, if your estimates, your accounting, and PM all show different costs for the same number, that's usually a sign of manual entry, and someone's inputting something wrong somewhere, right? And so the numbers should ideally sync across exactly as is seamlessly. And so if not, you probably have manual entry somewhere, and or at least in one place and maybe not others. And so it's losing accuracy with each step and input. And so if you have two or more numbers that should be the exact same, they're showing up as different, that's probably a sign that manual entry is happening somewhere, and we're not syncing across exactly as is. We're getting a little bit of an error somewhere. So sign number three is your admin team becomes the data middleman, and basically they only seem to exist to move data from one platform to another. And ideally, people should manage an automatic workflow and not have to do it manually themselves. And so if you have an admin team where it seems like all they're doing is just moving data from one place to another, and like people are just like, hey, can you, here's the spreadsheet, can you go ahead and upload it into the system? That's probably a sign that you've got a little, maybe just a little bit too much of manual entry going on. And ideally, we should have some kind of automatic thing where someone is just inputting something once, and then that just goes ahead and goes throughout the whole system, like syncs throughout the whole system. So if you have your admin team seems to become the dedicated team of just moving data around, that's probably a sign that we can connect some systems up or automate some things and reduce some manual entry somewhere. Okay, sign number four is job cost reports are always late. This goes for just about any report that you do, repeatedly. And so if reports usually take too long because they're being compiled manually. And so unless it's a one-off super custom report where it's like, hey, maybe we have to get this to like an audit or something like that, right? Where we're probably not going to do it again. It should happen pretty seamlessly. And so if you have reports that you should be doing, repeatedly, and they're taking too long and they're just always seem to be late, it's probably a sign that someone is compiling them manually or something's wrong somewhere. Maybe it's just that the data is wrong, right? Which could, again, go back to some of those earlier signs where the data is being input manually and incorrectly. And so, again, this is another sign of manual entry. And sign number five is that there's a lot of staff burnout and turnover in admin roles. So constant reentry can reduce morale. I've seen this in a couple different companies now. And staff can just seem like super stressed and on high alert. They seem like they're working more hours than normal and they never seem to get caught up. And so, all of that obviously just is a super stressful position to be in. And so you can have increased staff burnout, turnover, just like a lot of, it seems like they're stressed and there's maybe a lot of complaints and stuff going on and they can never seem to get caught up and get stuff done. That's probably a sign there's too much manual entry. And it's just so stressful and overwhelming that they just can't get caught up. There's just too much of it. And so what's the fix? The fix is to identify processes where double entry or manual entry is happening, and then go ahead and research opportunities for automation, integration, software, AI, outsourcing. We're going to be building some more videos and stuff on each of these. So stay tuned for that. And then that'll help you on those fronts where you can find stuff to automate. And if you're stuck and you want help, go ahead and give me a call. I'll leave the link at the top of the description below, or you can go to Atlas CFO /automate. There'll be a button there you can click, and then it'll take you to a contact form. You can get in touch with me, and we can see if we can help you with stuff like this. So I hope this is helpful. Again, we'll get some more videos out so you can see on stuff like automation, integration, AI, outsourcing, all that stuff here in a bit. So stay tuned for that. And I hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.